On today's episode of MMA T Company Fighter Spotlight, we have Derik Overstreet. Derik is a 4-1 amateur who has an upcoming fight at HR MMA 119. That's going to be on February 27th. Derik primarily trains down at Nashville MMA in East Nashville. Derik, thanks for joining me today. And what's going on?
Same old stuff, just trying to get ready. It's we had a snowstorm, like an ice storm come down recently, so it's been weird, just a lot of running around in the snow and getting on a treadmill recently, but it's been good. Got to fight in about a week.
And that ice storm, has it, I could know a couple of people who live in Nashville and it's really impacted their travel. Have you still been able to get into the gym, or are you doing more home workouts till they get that cleared up?
I've been able to get out, but there's my apartment has a home gym, and then there's a full CrossFit room and everything, so there's a lot of open space and everything for me to still train, but no, I haven't even been able to get down to the gym in a few days.
Got you. And do you have plans on getting down there at all this week?
Oh, yeah. Well, as soon as it clears up, yeah.
Got you. Good. That's good, especially because, you fight in, 10 days from now. So you're really, coming down here where you're fine tuning these final things, starting your weight cut, probably 3-4 days that you'll be, starting to either water load or do whatever you do for the weight cut. When in terms of, cutting weight, feeling in shape, how are you going into this camp? Because you just recently fought, am I correct?
Yeah, I fought at 205 January 23rd for Premier, and then went straight back into another camp and just kept it rolling. So that helped me out. I'm in good shape, and the weight's been coming out pretty easy, but it's 185 is going to be new. It's been my first time going all the way down to 185, so it's going to be different, but this is also the lowest I've ever cut from, so it should be easier than most.
Okay, so, and you had a unanimous decision in that last fight. So how'd your body feel going right back into camp?
It felt good. Like, I'm healthy and everything. I made a point this year, especially because I wanted to fight a lot last year, but that couldn't happen for obvious reasons.
Sure.
Um, as long as I'm healthy and not getting banged up or hit in the face or getting my legs kicked off or anything in a fight, I'm just going to keep on rolling fights until I can go pro.
Yeah, and I did see on your Instagram, right, you already have another fight lined up for March. So is your kind of goal here to just fight once a month, get as much experience as you can?
Yeah, if at all possible, yeah. Once a month, and then just keep it rolling until I'm ready. There's a level that I want to be at, and I feel like I'm not there yet. And that's where some people already went pro. I just want to be completely fine-tuned and know that I'm going to be at the best level I can before I jump off that cliff.
And it's interesting to me, right? Because you say that there's a level that you have to get to, and there's different approaches to going pro, right? Some people are like, I want to get X amount of wins. Some people want X amount of fights. Are there things in your game, right? You say you want to get to that level, certain things that you just feel that once it clicks in the gym, like those things come together, that's when you'll be there? Or is it when you're, mixing it up with certain sparring partners, or when it's actual cage experience? What do you mean when you say get to that level?
I think it's just actual cage experience right now because I've only been training for a little bit over 2 years. And just feeling more free in the cage. I feel like I've been real conservative with everything that I've done. I can do a lot more. And I haven't been putting all the stuff all my skills together that I know I have. Like, I can wrestle, but I haven't used it much. Mm-hmm. I have jiu-jitsu and I haven't used it much. I want to stand up and just beat people up. But that's you can't do that once you get past amateur and past a certain level of pro. Mm-hmm. So when I feel like I'm operating as a pro, I will make that move, I'm sure.
Okay. And you said you've only been training for 2 years. What's your background in? Where did you, where's your, some people call it athletic background, or your experience, or what, did you bring into the MMA gym before you started?
I wrestled for about 2.5 years in middle school and high school. And then I got a football scholarship to WKU, West Kentucky University. So I was a football player for, I think that's the majority of my life now, probably 10 years. So I played football from elementary school all the way up through high school. Got out and I was like, I don't really want to play anymore. And went straight to a gym. when I was 22. I went to the boxing gym originally, and then I went to the MMA gym here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, for 2 years, and then went down to Nashville MMA last August. So I had some wrestling. I had boxing, but other than that, it was me playing football.
And that football background, right, that you have, obviously to get a scholarship to Western Kentucky, you're at a pretty high level, right, playing there. And they're probably having pretty strict workout regiments. Pretty much everything is scheduled and making sure that you get to where you need to be at all the time. Now, did that whole experience, right, of playing college football help you build your schedule for how you train in MMA now?
Yeah, it gets you used to that grind of getting up every morning and doing multiple workouts and being real focused on your goals throughout the day. So you have to be organized. You're going to miss everything. I remember in football, I'd be up from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. pretty much every day during the week. So, and that's where some people have to adjust to that. And it grinds you down, but I've been used to it for a while now.
And I guess the biggest difference, I mean, there's a bunch of big differences between the two sports, but in football, right, you have a different, I would say, walking around or comfortable weight that your coaches might have wanted you at. And then in MMA, it's almost like how much weight can you cut and still be as strong and fast as you are when you walk around. So being that you only have, 5 fights now, is that why you feel more comfortable going down to 185 as opposed to 205 because you've kind of played with that weight cut a little bit and been able to know your body in the MMA cage?
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to see if I can do it for real. Because I remember when I get to 185, there'll be 100 pounds from the heaviest I was when I played football. So I wanted to see if that one is just me wanting to see if I can do it, and two, I know I'll be a really big 185. Like me, I'm big at 205, but I don't really cut weight at 205. It's just me like 185. I feel like I'd be pretty big.
Now, what position did you play at football playing at 205 or 285?
I was a defensive end. It was
Okay.
like a defensive end / outside linebacker.
Okay. So, that skill set in and of itself, right? You're doing a lot of, football players call it hand-to-hand combat, right? You're always up in somebody's face or you're moving people with your hands. Did that experience and the way that you have to use your hands playing the defensive line, defensive end, do you feel like that almost gave you a little bit of an advantage going into an MMA gym over someone who didn't have that just because of your body awareness and being able to do that, play in and play out?
Yeah, and when you have people pushing, pulling on you the whole time, and a lot of them are 300 pounds or heavier, it felt way different going in there with somebody that I knew was the same size as me. Like it completely changed my perspective on everything. And there's a type of confidence where I know if somebody, it's different though because you're wearing pads and everything else, and the whole technique is different. But if I can handle somebody that's 50 pounds heavier than me coming at me every few seconds, then I'm not really particularly worried about somebody that's my weight.
And being on the line, it's almost like that those first couple of plays when you get a hold of someone, right, you're like, oh, I can manhandle this person. Like, if you're going to have that guy for the game, right? And it's almost the same feeling when you grab someone in the cage. You put them up against the cage and you're kind of able to freely move them, like underhook or dump them, whatever you're going to do. So when you grab a hold of someone when you were at 205, did you feel physically stronger than a lot of people?
Yeah, the majority. I mean, it's gotten weird too with that translation over from football because now one of my bigger things is getting to the clinch. And like you said, you can feel immediately if you're stronger than somebody, if you can move them around. And it's been pretty much everybody. It's been pretty much everybody, unless somebody's just really just trying to grit down and use all the muscle and everything. It's been there. So again, I'm interested in what it's going to feel like 185. It's going to be different.
Sure. And, the biggest thing that a lot of people talk about when you go down a weight class is there's going to be maybe a speed gap. But watching some of your fights, you also seem like you were, faster and quicker than the people you were fighting at 205 as well. So is the speed gap that some people talk about when you're moving down a weight class something that concerns you? Do you feel like you'll be able to, keep that same strength and still, increase your speed when you go down?
I don't think that'll really be an issue. Like like you said, in watching my film, I haven't really noticed. I would feel kind of uncomfortable if I looked like I was moving underwater or something, going to 205 already. But it's been, I feel like there's an athletic advantage for the most part in the fights, and I'm interested in seeing what the speed difference is going to be, because I know there'll be one just off of them being smaller and used to throwing faster punches and everything. But we'll see. I don't think it'll be an issue.
Yeah. And I mean, you, like I said, from watching your tape, you kind of hit like a truck at 205. So at 185, I'm guessing that's still going to hurt.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope don't drop down, get pillow hands. That would be a good move.
No, so that's kind of the thing with amateurs too, right? Is you want to do this, one, to see if you can get down to 185. Two, you said about getting 100 pounds lower than your playing weight. But three, amateurs is an experience, right? So you're trying to experience as much as you can. Take fights with different people who have different, styles, and you're trying to do different things. So what is one thing that you've learned from your last fight to this fight, right? That's made you a better fighter as an amateur.
I've had fights with different styles at this point. People that just straight want to brawl. To the last fight he was a wrestler, and we want to do that intentionally just to get that out of the way now, to where it wasn't a big shock. But somebody shooting at my legs over and over again once I went pro or something. So it was good knowing that I felt calm the whole time. I felt comfortable on the ground. It's just I got put in a dangerous situation and got out of it pretty cleanly. It's good to have those different body types, and he was big too. That dude looked like he cut from probably 230 or something. But it's good to have those different body types and fight styles early, where it's not a big shock when somebody's diving at me or throwing spinning kicks when I get down the road.
Yeah, and those styles are just a pain in the ass to deal with anyway. Anytime somebody starts spinning at you or throwing question mark kicks, things like that. So, like you said, it's good to just be aware of it and see it early so that you can kind of game plan for it later. And speaking of game plans, I don't want you to give too much away or talk about a specific thing that you're doing for this upcoming fight. But what can fans hope to see from you, in your fight in 10 days from now?
Just a lot of violence. I feel like I left a lot on the table. I've told my girlfriend's probably getting pissed at me now at this point, me talking about the fight, but it's not even nothing in this upcoming fight is about anything that he wants to do. It's more me letting my stuff go. I feel like I've held back a lot, and I've got the experience now with the basics at this point where I want to go out and be me, and I haven't done that yet. But yeah, a lot of violence, pressure. It just I'm getting excited now even talking about it. Yeah, mostly just violence.
Yeah, and being 10 days out, I can only imagine that she probably is getting annoyed with you talking about it, because it's really the only thing that's going to be on your mind from now until that fight, right? Probably visualizing, game planning, thinking about the fight, talking about the fight, and it's exciting. Now, being backstage, right? You made weight, all this different stuff happened. You're backstage. What's your mentality like? What's your demeanor like in the back?
I'm really calm. It was weird to me. It's been weird in my past few fights. Even I don't really feel any anxiety because I feel like the haze in the barn at that point, pretty much. The scariest thing for me is making weight. After that point, I know all the work has been put in. I've worked as hard as I possibly could, so there's not really any fear or anxiety or anything. At that point, it's just like a formality of getting in the cage and actually doing it.
And being a calm, laid back person, and then you said this fight specifically, you want to show some violence. You want to be violent in the cage, be in his face the whole time. How do you get yourself to that zone? Do you have to flip a switch? Is there something that you think about? Or are you just like, all right, it's game time. Let's go put this guy on the mat and then whoop his ass?
My base level, I'm always kind of mad, so it's not really much of a difference.
Okay.
It's the type of thing where if I could, I'd be probably getting the fights every day, but I can't. So it's easier to do in the gym. There's not really much of a mentality change. It's like me watching videos of my fights and then seeing my face start today. I'm like, I kind of look like I'm like going to Kroger or something. Mm-hmm. But there's obviously, that somebody's trying to beat you up, so it makes it much easier for me to go out there and do something back to them. But there's not really much of a mentality change. It's great. Like, I probably sound but it's about the same.
Yeah, I mean, you could take it even back to football. One of the earliest things whenever dad ever told me when I played, even like Pee-wees, is football's all about hitting or getting hit, right? So I'm going to hit you or you're going to hit me. And it's the same thing going into the cage, right? It's just me and you across from each other. And I know you're trying to hurt me. So my only goal now is to hurt you so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, especially in a fight, like you're gonna. Now it's the thing of shoot first because people they're gonna be throwing bricks at your head.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to get that highlight knockout. Everybody wants to take you down, just beat the hell out of you. So if you don't if you don't initiate it, something's gonna come at you.
Yeah, and that's where I think coming back full circle, talking about your goals in the cages, you can't hesitate, right? Hesitation is what brings people down, what gets you hurt. Exactly. So the more you can be free, the more you can kind of let those punches, those kicks go, the more success that you'll have in the cage.
Definitely. And with my style of how I fight, I feel like it translates directly. Like the looser that I am mentally and the looser I am physically, the worse it's going to get in terms of the physical outcome. So I want that to be the goal going into it. I feel like I'm in a good space on both ends rolling into this fight. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, man. So are we. I can't wait to see what you've been up to in the last just month since your last fight, and then moving forward. I know you got another one in March, and kind of just keep them rolling on. And before I let you go, just wanted to kind of kick it over to you, give you the spotlight. Any shout outs, anything you want to send out to anybody, training partners, coaches, what have you. Just open up the floor to you.
Thank you to everybody down in Nashville and May for helping me get prepared, all my coaches. Thank you to all my sponsors because they make it way easier for me to pay for my stuff and just exist as I do. I don't have to work much based off of me promoting all their stuff and them helping me out in the ways that they do. Thank you to all my family and friends and my girlfriend who's over here. I don't know what she's doing in the corner. Past 2020, but still rolling into 2021. I feel like it's important that people stand up for what's right in the world and just don't get sectioned off or blacklisted based on you taking a stance for what's right. And it's more important to be a good person than it ever will be for me to be an athlete. So I would push for everybody to keep on fighting for what's right, whatever you believe in, and unless you're a Nazi or something. But keep fighting for what's right and stand up for other people, help people out, and try to make the world a better place in everything you do. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it on mine.
Awesome.
And thank y'all for having me. Really, I appreciate the hell of y'all even taking me in with all this stuff and putting my weird ass logos on your shirts and hoodies. So it's been real exciting. Mm-hmm. I'm doing stuff that a lot of people can only say they did on like UFC 4's career mode or something. So it's been unique this year to see the steady progression of what I'm doing and see hard work paying off. But we're trying to keep it rolling. I appreciate y'all taking me in.
Yes, sir. We can't wait to see, where it goes from here. Very well said about being a good person, right? I live my life the same exact way. Looking forward to, seeing this fight and seeing what comes, down the road in your career. And hopefully we get some more of those weird ass logos to put on other shirts.
Definitely.
All right, man. Great speaking with you. Enjoy the weight cut, and we'll see you on the other end of the fight.
All right. I'll see you all around.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.